Happy Friday. I should say hi everyone, not guys. I've got girls, I've got guys, I've got everything. But guys is sort of something I just say. If it offends you, I am sorry. But hello, happy Friday to everybody that's here. I hope that you've had a good week. If you're in Toronto, I hope you've stayed cool. It is so hot. My friend just came by and she has two dogs, and we don't have a dog. My boys kind of want a dog, they kind of don't. They go through phases. Anyway, she comes by on Fridays and we do a distance walk, and my boys actually walk her dogs. And so it is like 35 degrees here, and we walked for an hour. So their hair is so sweaty and like sticking up like crazy, but we managed to get out for a little bit. So I hope you are staying cool if you are in a hot place. I wanted to hop on today, one, to wish you guys a happy, safe weekend, but also to welcome all the new members. I'm sending out posts each Friday to welcome people and to help each other get to know everybody, myself and you guys included. If you're watching, be sure to say hi. If you have questions at all during the video, don't be shy. But I'm going to tag you in your welcome post if you are a new member to the group. I can only do 50 at a time. That's Facebook's boundaries. So if you didn't get a hello personally today, then watch for it. It will happen. And also know that I have been super, super busy right now, but I haven't forgotten about you. I will reach out to each one of you to give a personal message to say hello to you guys. But I had a lot of good feedback around the tantrums versus meltdowns video. And there's still so much more in depth that we really need to go into that before we can really understand why behaviors are happening and what we can do to solve them. So today I wanted to talk to you about the concept that parenting foundations are key. Okay, so what that means is before we can even begin to make changes with our kids' behavior, we have to understand the foundations around our own parenting and around our kids' behavior. So foundations for our own parenting look like, do we understand fully what positive parenting is? Do we understand the difference between punishment and discipline? They are two totally different things. I'm going to do a full talk on punishment versus discipline, but for today, we're just touching base on the things we need to understand to know why foundations are key. We also need to know how we respond to our kids instead of react. So I get a lot of messages that no from their child is ruling the house. Their whole day is no, I won't do that. No, I won't do this. Or you say no to your child and it's a massive epic tantrum or meltdown and shit hits the fan. So what I want you to know is when we respond instead of react, we actually solve a lot of those no problems that arise. Now, when we look at foundations from our kids' perspective, we need to understand the true meaning behind their behavior, which I keep coming back to, understanding what the problem is, where it's stemming from, and why it's occurring. Those foundations, when you start to build your foundations and you start to take time to learn and implement what the foundations are, you will understand your parenting perspective and approach so that you have proper foundations for positive parenting, and you'll understand the real meaning behind your child's behavior, which is going to give you foundations for the reasons why they panic every single time you say no, why they throw themselves on the floor when they don't get their way. Without understanding your parenting approach foundations and your child's meaning behind their behavior foundations, it's really hard to know what you should do or when you should do it. Okay, so in the heat of the moment and you tell your child no, I want you to think about what's going on there. What's really going on there is probably has nothing to do with the actual thing you're saying no to, but more around the fact that the foundations have not been set. Okay, so I want you to think about your kids as having a power and attention bucket. I come back to this all the time, but your kids have a power bucket and they have an attention bucket, and they need to be filled up every single day by you with positive parenting solutions. So if we don't use positive tools to fill up our child's power and attention buckets, they are going to work really, really hard to fill them. So when they say no to you, or you say no to them and they have a tantrum or an outburst, it gives them loads and loads and loads of negative power, puts them in charge. I was on a call the other day, on a discovery call with a mom who's interested in my Parenting with Purpose method program, and she said, my 6-year-old daughter will just literally stare me down. She crosses her arms and she looks at me and she's like, make me go to bed, make me brush my teeth. What are you going to do about it? So she is in a stare down, heat of the moment, because her child is enforcing power. Her child is saying, you can't make me. I'm a person. I'm my own thing. You can't do that to me. What's happening there foundationally is her power and attention buckets are low. They're running on empty. Also, what can be happening there is that from the parent's perspective, we are not responding where we're acting. We're picking up the other end of that rope and we're playing tug of war. We're battling back and forth and we're trying to force them to do what we've said, and they're trying to force the fact that you can't force them to do, and we get nowhere. We feel guilty, we feel shitty, we feel like we're doing a bad job. Why won't my child just listen? And this is all because we have to build foundations. Foundations truly are your key to easier parenting. Without it, you're in the dark. You're scrambling, you're battling left, right, and center. You're trying to put out fires. You're patchwork parenting, putting on a Band-Aid from here to here to here, trying to make behaviors go away, and all they do is come back. So one little tidbit that I'm going to help you with is that I want you to think about those times where your child loses their mind when you tell them no. Okay, so you ask them to do something or they want to do something and you tell your child no. And I want you to think about what has set them off. And then I want you to ask yourself, okay, in this situation, did I set up what was going to happen as best I could up front in advance? Did my child have fair warning? Did they understand what was coming next? Did they understand what the plan was? Did I communicate with them what our next steps were going to be? Or did I just throw it out of the park and I'm the boss and I just said, no, we're leaving now, let's go. Or no, you can't have a popsicle, let's go. I want you to think about setting things up for advance. So let's use the instance of having a popsicle. So my sister the other day was on the phone with me, and she's 2 years older than me, and she has 2 kids who are 9 and 6, okay? And we're all living COVID, and she's trying to work from home, and all of this stuff is happening just like we're all dealing with. She was on the phone with me checking in, and the kids kept coming in saying, when can I have my popsicle? Wait, Mommy, can I have my popsicle now? She's like, stop talking to me. I'm on the phone. I will deal with you when I'm off the phone. Do not come in anymore. 2 seconds later, Mommy, can I have a popsicle? Mommy, when are we going to have that popsicle? You said we could have a popsicle. I said, leave me alone. I'm on the phone. You're not having a popsicle if you come in anymore. And then it kept going and going and going. And when we get into these vicious cycles, nobody's winning here. So basically, you're on the phone. Their power and attention buckets are running low. Foundations haven't been set. And they're getting power and attention in a negative way by you, or my sister in this case, continually coming back to them and saying, I'm not talking to you right now. You're not having a popsicle. I'm still on the phone. That is actually taking her away from me and giving them attention. So we keep telling our kids, keep coming in. Keep doing it. This is awesome. You're going to get more attention. You're going to get more power. You should keep bugging me about popsicles. Not what we want. That is not what we want, right? We don't want to feel like that. We don't want to give that attention. So I want you to think about setting things up in advance, giving your kids fair warning and notice. So thinking about that particular situation, what would be a helpful tool would be, and also keeping in mind age and stage. If you have a 2-year-old, it's going to look a little bit different than, in this case, we have a 6 and a 9-year-old that we're talking about. But what I want you to think about is all you can do is say to your kids, I'm getting ready to get on the phone and I'm going to be about 15 minutes. After I get off, which is going to be at 2 o'clock, here's the clock. If they don't know their time, you can put a piece of paper that says 2 o'clock next to it. And you can say, when the clock matches the sign, come and get me. Or when the clock matches the sign, you're welcome to go get a popsicle on your own. Whatever the age and stage is whatever your kids can handle. Give them a sense of capability. But by giving them a time frame, It's less ambiguous. Like they know that, okay, at this time, I can have my popsicle. They don't need to come and ask you anymore. And I would also be thinking about consequences in this moment. What are going to be your boundaries around if they keep coming to bug you when you've given them a note, when you've given them notice? If the job is to come and get you at 2, and then you can have a popsicle, then you need to follow through. You need to get off the phone at 2 and you need to acknowledge them. But if you come in before 2 and you continue to ask me, then you're telling me that you don't want your popsicle. Are we clear? Can you repeat back to me what our plan is? And they would say to you, when the clock says 2, I'm going to come and get you, and then I can have my popsicle. And then you will make sure they know. But if you come in before that, what's going to happen? Of course, letting them know if there's an emergency, somebody's bleeding, somebody's throwing up, of course, come and get you. You need to teach, train, and practice. So what I'm saying to you is being proactive, doing things in advance, up front, giving fair warning is setting the foundations. So first we set our parenting foundations to recap so we can learn to parent in the most positive and effective way. We take time to learn the lessons and understand the true meaning behind our kids' behavior so we can avoid the whining, the tantrums, the annoying, I'm saying no just because I want to stare you down. And then we have tools that we use, such as teaching, training, and practicing up front to set up situations like the popsicle example we talked about today. Okay, so this is just one example. This is just one idea. But I want you to do some reflecting over the weekend and think about what are the times that your child is set off most. Where could you maybe do a little bit more proactive upfront guiding and setting some of those clear, concrete, consistent boundaries? If you struggle with boundaries, if you struggle with consequences, if you struggle with tantrums left, right, and center, your child's not sleeping, they're up in the middle of the night, and everything feels like a total disaster, and you're just feeling shitty about all of it, don't live like that. Let's change that. So if you want to take charge and learn about your parenting foundations and the true meaning behind your kids' behavior and really understand the difference between punishment and discipline and have a really step-by-step plan where I literally lay it out for you, which lesson you do in which order and what things you need to implement in your home in which order. If you really want to take your parenting from here to here in 12 weeks, then I would love for you to join me inside my Parenting with Purpose method. It is a 12-week program. Parents are enrolling as we speak. We are actually, this program just launched and we're starting our very first coaching call next Tuesday, the 21st. So you have time to go through the first week's lessons without being rushed. It is ongoing enrollment, so you can join at any time. You're not ever behind. But those of you who are joining now get a lot of one-on-one tailored support because we don't have that many in the program yet. I haven't started my ads. I haven't done all that. So it's actually just for you guys to get extra support. If you want to know more about how you can take your parenting literally from frustrated, overwhelmed, and exhaustion to a place where you can parent really feeling calm, equipped, and in control in a very positive way so you can build your relationships up with your kids instead of tearing them down, then reach out for me. I will put a link here in the comments before I get out. It's Tia Slida, let me see if I can spell my own name, .com/discovery call. I do offer, I put it in the comments there. I do offer 30 minutes free, totally pressure free. You do not have to sign up on the call. I'm not going to hound you to understand more what your challenges are and also for you to understand how this program can help you. It's literally going to save your life to spend 12 weeks focusing on it and learning those skills we need to learn because parenting's not intuitive. And if we keep waiting, we're not just going to get intuitive. It's not going to happen. I couldn't just do brain surgery tomorrow just because I waited around and figured it out. It's not going to happen. So I want you to take charge. I want you to think about it. I want you to book a call if you want to book a call. It's pressure free, like I said. Think about those moments your kids melt down and lose their cool and think about what you can do to help build some foundations because Parenting foundations are key to easier, more enjoyable parenting. Anyway, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. I hope this was helpful. Again, comment if you have questions. If you watch the replay, hashtag replay, let me know what your questions are. That seems to be working well in my other videos. And then I know how to better support you and to offer you some free advice on the areas that you're really struggling with. So hang in there. You're not alone. The community's growing. We're in this together. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe. Stay cool. Put on your sunblock. And I will see you next week.